Hello and welcome to my first watercolor tutorial here at Create in the Chaos. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little watercolor robot. Now first of all I have to say I am not a watercolor expert by any means. I'm very much a watercolor newbie, but that means that if I can do this, you can too. I have this beautiful paint set. I got it off Amazon. There's a link to it down in the description. I love it because it has a lot of beautiful bright colors. And it's been lasting me quite a while too. So you can find the link to that set in the description. I'm just using a basic, very thin tipped brush here. And I have a nice cup of water with me too. So I'm going to get started and show you how to do this. I'm going to use one of my blues here to make the robot. We want to get it nice and wet just to start softening the paint. And then when I'm making a little robot, I start by making a small square. One of the fun things about watercolors is even if you mess up a little bit, it still turns out pretty cute. So this is going to be the head of the robot, and then I'm going to make a smaller square for the body. It's going to be a little disproportionate, but that makes him kind of cute. I'm going to attach some arms on the side here, just little rectangles for arms. I'm not using a ton of water right now. I'm keeping just a little bit of water in with my paint because I want the outline of the robot to be a bit darker than the inside. I'm going to add on some feet at the bottom here. Then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to the head and I'm going to make a wide spot for his eyes. Big rectangles. And one thing I like to do is I always give myself a little more space than I think, because it's easier to add in later. Obviously it's not as easy to erase watercolor. Now that I've got the basic outline of the robot done, I'm going to pick just a slightly lighter color blue and get that really wet. And I'm going to go back in and I'm going to fill in the body of the robot. I don't know if you can tell on the video, but this color is just a little bit lighter, kind of gives a nice contrast. So even though his arms and legs are right next to the body, you can see the distinction. Just gonna fill it in. This paint I'm trying to keep really wet because I want it to be a much lighter color. The outline I want darker, but the inside I want lighter. And nice and carefully in the head, go around the eyes. One of the things I found working with watercolor is you want to kind of keep working along with it and start in one spot and kind of work your way to another spot. It doesn't work as well if you're jumping around because you want it to look uniform. And those of you who are watercolor experts or much better at this than me probably can see that I'm doing a lot of things wrong, but like I said, if I can do this, you can do it too. Alright, I'm just going to kind of fill in here and finish off. Next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let him dry for a little bit. I want to let the watercolor completely dry, and then we'll go back in and add the details. Right now that I've let the robot dry for a few minutes, I'm ready to add a detail. You can do this a couple different ways. Sometimes I use pen. I use some Micron Pigment pens. But I also can just use some black watercolor from the same watercolor set. I'm going to start by finishing off his eyes. I'm just going to draw a little line down the middle. And the most important part is that you let this dry all the way before you start doing this. Otherwise your black will bleed all over the rest of him. Do the same over here and try to get them to look about the same. You can see I was a little impatient. My watercolor's actually starting to bleed a little bit. Should have let them dry a little bit longer, but that's okay. One of the great things about watercolors are really forgiving. It kind of reminds me of doodling. You know, you can make some little watercolor illustrations, and if you mess up, you just start a new one. I'm going to put in his neck right here too. And a little mouth. I'm going to add in some details down here, some vents and buttons. And then lastly, I'm going to add on just some little grip hands. Oh, and one more detail I forgot. I like to do little antennas on the side. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little watercolor tutorial. You could check out createinthechaos.com for lots of free printables and fun art activities for kids and adults. Have a great day.